On air.
You're bebopping and re-rocking with the one and only Sid Sticky coming at you live from the downtown Mad Catz Showroom Casino and Lounge. I'm your host, Johnny Vegas.
Best intro I think that we've ever had. I don't know why I don't have you do all of the intros for me. That was awesome.
Well, you know, for a price.
Oh, I'm trying to find, where's our live thing? Isn't it live? Why isn't it live? Is it live? I don't know if it's live. Sort by. I don't know how to find this stuff. I don't know why is it not showing up?
Hi, Becca. Can we hear you?
If you turn your mic on, then we can.
Let's turn her mic on.
Now you can.
Oh, cool. I'm going to interview you.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm just mucking about here.
So, Ginger. Let's talk about you. I'm the church lady, and this is church chat.
Oh, man.
Stop.
Here we go. I found it. And it's, of course, I pull it up, and it's just me on my phone. This is another reason why I need to figure out how to get those links to people ahead of time. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Some creative input from Ginger.
I like these buttons.
I think I need to throw you on that DJ thing a little bit more often. There you go. I just tagged you in a thing on Facebook. Welcome. I think that we officially started with your little radio intro thing there. So my friend Ben and his wife Jen, BJ, if you want to talk
Ben
to
and Jen.
B&J.
Yeah.
P&J, PBJ. They said that they like listening, but they also don't know most of the people that I've had on.
Good point.
So,
who am I and what do I do?
Who the frig are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, mi nombre Jefe. Jefe, so what am I? I'm a Mexican born in a Canadian's body. I'm transnational. I'm applied for reparations from the Mexican government because being a Mexican in a Canadian's body is freaking horrible. The cold up here is just... Anyways, yeah, and Glamour Magazine has me up for Mexican of the Year. So that's all untrue.
Hey, can you mash record on that?
I am...
Hit the big green record button.
I'm Geoff. Born in Surrey. Born in Prince George, raised in Surrey. Tramped around the world a little bit and landed here in lovely downtown Kelowna, British Columbia.
When was that? Because you used to be in LA for a while, right?
I was in San Francisco, Bay Area for about 6 or 7 years. Wandered in on a tourist visa and forgot to leave. No immigration out there, right? No, it's past the statute, I'm sure. Yeah, I just sort of gypsied all over the place from a young age. I did all of Canada. I lived in all the provinces, or not lived in, but traveled all the provinces and both the territories, because I'm old, before there was 3 territories.
Wait, which was the newest one?
I think it's called. Am I right? No?
Might have been a mic glitch there, but I think I know it. I think you're right.
Who's the geography teacher? There was a Yukon and Northwest Territories when I was in existence. Now there's a third one, right? They split off part of the Northwest Territories.
None of it? Is that the new one?
Iqaluit.
Iqaluit?
Iqaluit.
None of it. Iqaluit.
That was none of it.
One's the capital, one's the...
Call who?
I don't know.
Anyways, finally busted the border chasing a chick. And impregnated her. Got myself a kid and went off to Central America for a little while. She brought him back here without consent, and here I am.
That's how you ended up in here.
That's how I ended up back in Kelowna.
Oh, wow.
My second stint in Kelowna, I always seemed to migrate back to the Okanagan. I'd bounce out, I'd bounce back. I'd bounce out, I'd bounce back. I'd moved to Vancouver for a little while. I'd come back to the Okanagan. I'd moved to Calgary. I'd come back to the Okanagan. I'd moved to Belize, Central America. I'd come back to the Okanagan. So the latest trip wasn't my choice, but it happens to be the longest I've ever spent in one city in my adult life.
Here.
Yeah, pretty cool, eh?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, because I actually never knew that you moved around a lot until like I think the third year that I knew you, and that's when we started talking about like some of the stories down with some it's like the not like street fighters, but like some of the street fights that would happen, and then it would end up being your gym trainees down in San Francisco.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh wow, Jeff's been around a few places. Then later on, I was like, oh, he's actually been to most places.
What's interesting, and I don't know if it was you or Rob Velzebor told me, most Canadians don't even have a passport.
Yeah, the majority of them don't.
Right.
Which is bizarre. That blows my mind.
But it's funny, the more I traveled, the more I realized how little I'd traveled, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So I've made homes from Whitehorse, Yukon to Belize, Central America, and a whole bunch of stops in between. And I feel like I haven't seen nothing. I've been to Europe once, to Ireland, and that was just for fights. Let's call that boxing, just so nobody's freaking out over there. What the fuck, you went to Ireland to fight? Yeah, they fight in Ireland. It's a good shillelagh.
That's how you say hello over there, isn't it?
It's how you say hello, right? But I just really, I don't know, and I love cultures. I love different people and different. That's probably why I migrate towards you. You growing up in Kuwait, and it piques me, right? I'm always like, and then what'd you do? And what'd your dad do? And what'd your mom do? And
one funny thing is I had basically zero knowledge, experience, or anything at all, like any kind of fights prior to training here. This is where I grew up. Like there weren't really like real fights. It's weird. Like from what I was told, the history of why the way that you fight in the Middle East, the way that you do, like just like street fights, like most of the time,
it's kind of a live or die thing.
No, it's not like it really depends on where you were. Where I was, in my context, because every country out there is totally different, but where I was, there were no fist fights. There were slaps, and there were shoe hits. Because what I was told is prior...
Yo, mama.
No, you'd actually like get arrested for a closed fist strike,
no shit,
but not an open hand. Huh. So they have slaps that'll knock a motherfucker out.
Yeah.
They're so good. Like their arms are like whips. By the time they actually connect, like it looks like they have the smallest little move, but then you hear this thwack, and the dude's like, "What the hell just happened?" And also, like they do learn from their mothers as well, because they definitely beat their kids out there for sure. Yeah. But also, like culturally, like the bottom of your shoe is like really, really unclean. So if they take the shoe off and hit you with it, it's like you are lower than scum.
Yeah.
Because you're underneath my foot. Yeah, and they get good at hitting you with shoes too. So like you see like sandals. Do you remember that guy that threw the sandal at George W. Bush? Or both of them. He threw two shoes at me, like dodged both of them. It was an Iraqi guy that was like whipping shoes at him.
Okay, so that was a thing.
Yeah, that was like not just I'm throwing something at you. It was like you are scum. I'm throwing shoes at you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the kind of fights that we had over there. It's like slaps and brawls and mostly mouthing off to each other.
When it comes to politics, I'm like a complete virgin. I was thinking about it the other day, and everybody was talking about this and that and jury duty, and I realized I've never been called for jury duty, and I thought it's because I'm me, right? Who wants to be judged by me, right? But then I realized I've never. Oh shit. I guess this is okay. I've never once registered to vote. I have not voted in my entire life, not for hall monitor, not for civic, not for municipal, not for federal and provincial, nothing. I've never voted once. And I guess I'm not on a registry, so they don't call me up for jury duty.
That's probably important to be called up for that. Why don't you vote?
I honestly, here we go into the weirdness.
Oh, going head first.
Right? I do not believe... Yeah, here we go. I don't believe that they even count the fucking votes, to be honest. I think it's all predetermined. Somebody has already decided who's in, who's not. I mean, to back my play, all you have to do is watch the last couple of U.S. elections and mail-in voting and this voting, and Trump says this and that guy says that. I don't even think the guys that are being voted for are running the countries. I mean, we're in the middle of this like proving me right phase of life, where it's the who, it's the 1%, it's the Rothschilds, it's the Rockefellers, and I don't got stats to back me, but Rob Velzebor does.
I definitely I don't agree with you regarding like that the votes don't count. They don't count them. But I think you might be onto something, and that's just my opinion. I'm not going to start any fights here because I'm going to lose. But I do think that you're onto something regarding. Yeah. By the way, we're in your boxing ring.
Yeah.
If anyone's
cool,
watching,
right?
We're in the ring. Any of these shit that you see behind us.
Can you see this stuff?
Yeah, they can kind of see some of it.
Cool.
They can't see up top there. It's just
no,
basically
the squirrel's been
insulation.
tearing that shit up.
That's a squirrel doing
That's
that?
a fucking squirrel. Oh, can I say fuck?
Is this, you can say whatever the
Okay,
fuck you
cool.
want.
Awesome.
Is that squirrel training with you or what? That's a big piece
You
of
know,
insulation
he's
that's moving
eating a lot of the insulation. He fell through the roof in the bag room the other day. I think he's getting fat, right? But, we had an evil baby in here for a little while, but it was
Okay, tell us that story. I love that.
So there was this demonic thing living in the roof, right? And you ever seen that one movie where the old lady turns into, or the baby turns into like a spider and goes across a... Oh, yeah, it lived in the roof of the boxing club. And I think it chased away the ghost, because I always used to have a ghost. But the ghost was benevolent, and the evil baby wasn't. But the evil baby has since moved out, so... I don't know what got it. I think maybe Pesty, the kitty. They think she got the evil baby.
The names you have for your animals are fantastic. Evil Baby, was it a raccoon?
It was a raccoon.
Okay, so Evil Baby the raccoon,
yeah.
Pesto the cat,
Pesto the kitty.
not
yeah.
Bobby now the puppy.
Not Bobby the dog. Bobby for short. Callie Cakes, the vicious pit bull. And not Bobby is also a vicious pit bull puppy. You got Thor, Zeus, Titan, not Bobby and Callie Cakes. So, yeah, what else? We had Schnickel Fritz before Pesto. Remember?
What were her babies?
Schnicky
You stopped naming them because she had too many of them.
No, Schnicky never had babies.
No. Pesto had too many babies.
Yeah,
Like you were
Pesto-
naming them all just like
yeah.
Italian
Her
ingredients.
first babies were big fat garlic and little basil. And from there, well, the cat's a
Wait, were those
horror.
4 kittens or those 2? Like big fat garlic and...
No, big fat garlic
Oh, okay.
and little basil. And then she just kept whoring around and having more and more and more. And now I'm selling them and pimping out the cat. It's kind of cool. What do you do for a living? Have my pets bred.
So so I actually wrote in the little description. You probably couldn't have seen it because it's only on there now. But I wrote like a little description thing ahead of time, and I wrote that you were like a dog breeder.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, cool. Because
I've
it's
never
not
actually
wrong.
bred a dog. I've had them bred, but
you don't
breeding a dog would just
you don't
be
like
sick.
make them do stuff. You kind of like put them together and
Right?
yeah,
no.
shit happens.
So I got my Callie Cakes, and she wanted to have a family. And I was like, no, really, you don't want babies? And she's like, yeah, I want babies, right? So we talked about it for about 4 years. Every heat, my dog would go into a false pregnancy. She'd get fat, moody, and milk. And I could squirt people with her tits, which was fun, right? But eventually I decided, okay, let's see if she really does want to have babies. She met this really nice guy named Leo, who was from California originally, and they fell in love. They planned a family, and she popped out 9 little ones.
9's a big litter.
Yeah, it's a big litter, and it kind of fucking saved me from COVID in a way. They're selling, like, pets are insane prices right now. People are begging me for kittens. They're offering me $100 a kitten.
Well, you have a mutual friend who was waiting for a year for, what did she get again?
Bonnie?
Yeah,
She
what
got
was her dog?
some, it's a little cross, Pepito kind of a thing. I think it comes from Latin America, but yeah, she applied for dog after dog after dog. The average dog that comes into the SPCA has like 40 or 50 applicants trying to get it.
It's probably there for minutes.
Yeah. Good for the dogs.
Good for the dogs, yeah. Like I remember,
Yeah.
I think it was either April or May last year, where all of a sudden all these shelters started posting photos of all their staff sitting around going,
Yeah.
thumbs up, the kennels are empty.
Yeah.
And what they didn't know is that they were out of jobs.
Thumbs down, we're unemployed.
They didn't realize how effective all that, like, oh, come adopt. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe if we have time. All of a sudden the world has time.
Yeah.
And
We're
now there's
walking
no
our
strays.
dogs,
I
man.
bet if you saw a stray dog with like 3 legs and it's barely hanging on for life,
Grab
it'd
it
be
and
like,
sell it.
oh, you have to fight off everyone else's jumping on it to try and bring it back to the vet.
Speaking of grabbing it and selling it, it's become an industry. One of Callie's babies got stolen.
Okay, please go into detail because
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard too many vague versions of that story and when Callie went missing.
Yeah, so it's funny. Callie had 9 pups. One was a ginger like her. 2 years ago, I went out of town for a fight, and I actually, Becca was looking after the house, and I got Clinton to come and do some extra dog walking. So Clinton's introducing himself to Becca, left the door open. Callie goes for a run. Clinton goes for a run and Becca goes for a run. Kelly won. And out she goes. Now, honestly, I think whoever grabbed her was good intentioned in the beginning, but then went, wow, what a great dog. I think I'll keep it.
She's beautiful.
Yeah. So the power of social media just went nuts, man. I mean, Callie's post got shared thousands of times within a day or two. And she was everywhere. She was all over the internet. And Kelowna Now picked up the story. Kelowna Now picked up the story. And little plug for you guys.
Yeah, I have no sponsors at all. I'm not looking for sponsors either.
Yeah.
You can come. Actually, here's just a quick little interjection on your story. I'm going to take a cue from Bill Burr. I don't know if you know who Bill Burr is. He's a ginger bald comedian, acting guy. He has a podcast, and his copy reads are hilarious. He will read it verbatim. Like if they say, read this bit like this, he says, read this bit like this. And he's just like cracking up and saying the worst possible job. It's so funny. So if I get any sponsors, I'm going to read it so poorly. It's going to be hilarious. Or maybe we'll get you to read it.
I'll help you with that.
I'll have you read it in the boxing ring announcing voice.
Exactly. Bartender. Sorry.
Do you need a top up?
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Can I get some service? Oh, there we go. Thanks.
I know who's getting paid first, if anyone does on this thing.
So, Alberta Pure. Show it to the mic.
Sorry.
I digress.
We were on in Kelowna Now and getting a dog back.
Right. So they brought my Kelly cakes home. That was awesome.
Wait, who did?
Kelowna Now, man, my phone went ballistic after they posted their story.
I wish it was some like more nefarious story of like you
Right?
hired some guns, they tracked the dude down, gave him warning signs.
Well,
and after
there
he
was a
didn't-
comment that I made, in the heat of losing my baby. I said, anybody who returns her, there will be no questions asked. If I find you with her, you better have some answers. So she quickly came home. And I'm not saying I'm all that. I just know I've done things.
Oh man,
I know. I didn't mean to.
I got some funny. I've heard some pretty good stories from you with some people.
I know.
So I was hoping it was something like that. I think you know what I'm talking about.
You don't try to do that. It just happens.
No, that's not a thing you never want to make that call.
Exactly.
But it's nice to have it on your speed dial.
Fast forward 2 years. Lady buys Lucifer. Lucifer is the only ginger puppy that looks like Callie. Puts him in her car, locks it up, runs into the pet store, comes out, gone.
Broken into the car?
Broken into the car, stole her puppy. I get on it. We socialize. We hit social media. I call Kelowna Now. They run a story. Bam, bam, bam. Luckily, Dog Control found it before I did. It was found 2 blocks from my home. I never did hear the end of the story. Investigation was ongoing and charges hadn't been laid yet. But they grabbed the pup, gave it back. Microchip your dogs. They grabbed the pup, ran the chip, got the owner, and a stolen bike. But they hadn't pressed charges yet, so there must have been some confusion as to who exactly stole the pup. All I'm thankful for is they found it before I did. Because I'm getting better, though, but sometimes I have limited control.
Oh, like you said, in the heat of the moment, sometimes you do things about your baby.
And then it escalates. Mm-hmm. And never works out good. There's always charges and policemen and stuff, so we don't want that.
No.
So that's kind of fun. So anyways, Kelly Cakes, Not Bobby, 9 puppies, Lucifer, pit bulls. Okay, so let's go there for a sec, shall we? They are, and I think this is one of the few political correctnesses that is actually a good idea. I put up an ad on Castanet.
Really pushing for the sponsors on this one.
Nick Johansson. I put an ad up on Castanet. I said, pity pups for sale. And I put up some pictures and a little description. It got denied. And I was trying to figure out, why would that get denied? I didn't, cuss or nothing. And a lady I know said, oh, because you said pitties. So I looked through the ads, and there was bully pups for sale. So I put the exact same ad. I changed the word pity for bully. I put bully pups for sale. Instantly accepted. So now let's explore that. And really the term pit bull. Pit bull is not a breed. There's 3 breeds that are considered pit bulls. There's the British Staffordshire, American Staffordshire, and the American Bull Terrier. And they're called pit bulls because they were pit fighting dogs. So if you're going to be politically correct and drop a term, let's drop that shit, because these guys are nanny dogs. They're the sweetest, kindest. I mean, you know my dogs. They're stupid affectionate.
They're the Energizer bunnies stuck inside of a stuffed animal.
Exactly. They're just so sweet. And if anything needs to be dropped, it's pit bulls. They're now calling them the bully breeds. And they have gone from being banned in some cities, Montreal, stupid Montreal.
Wasn't they banned? They were banned in Ontario.
Ontario, Montreal, different cities, different areas, banning these bully breeds that are just amazing, beautiful dogs, to going to one of Callie Cake's puppies, little Gracie, is being raised as a compassion dogs for clients with PTSD. So that's how far the breed has come. And I'm pretty chill with that. She's representing, right?
Yeah, the pit bulls as a breed, like they're sweet. They're really sweet. I knew someone who had a dog, and any time that I was over, like as soon as I walked into the house, if I immediately like gave attention to this little pit bull and started petting him, he would just pee all over the floor. He was, like, his
so
tail
excited.
would smack stuff
yeah.
off anywhere that was close by. He was just so excited. But he would never like jump up. You never like get aggressive.
Very
well. You never go out of
dogs.
control. Like there's Labradors, and there's like chocolate Labradors that are worse than pit bulls, just like in terms of like bouncing around in energy and more destructive by accident.
Crazy dogs.
Like they're sweet dogs. Pit bulls are really nice.
One of the most vicious breeds has got to be like a Chihuahua.
My God, my neighbor has a Chihuahua.
They bite everything,
That
man.
thing thinks it's 20 feet tall.
Oh, they're
It's
vicious.
really funny.
Horrible dogs.
Well, my sister-in-law has one as well.
Ban those fuckers.
My sister-in-law has one, and I had to nurse it with CBD because it like fell off something, and like its back legs weren't doing well. It was actually really, really well tempered, very chill, very calm dog. It was not a young dog either, but really, really good tempered. So they're not all like that.
No.
There's just a majority of them.
Yeah.
Maybe not a majority. There's enough of them that people think that Chihuahuas are like they're Satan's spawn.
I might be wrong, and it's a weird thing. If I am wrong, it's total cool, but I might be right too. And I think the most common dog bites come from St. Bernards.
Is that from them rescuing you from snow?
No, I think it's just I Googled like that one time, like what is the most common dog bite, and I think it was St. Bernards.
Hey, Becky, do you want to Google that real quick?
It'd be see if I'm right or not. I know all kinds of shit that I don't know if I know or not.
Like, I have like echoes of memories.
Yeah,
I heard this thing that one place somewhere. I can't quote you. I can't cite
spew
it.
out wisdoms without any idea if it's true or not. But I always preface it with, I'm not sure if I'm lying.
Oh, there's a disclaimer. It's good enough, isn't it?
You got to throw out the disclaimer. But I know they have, it's either they're the most common dog to bite or they have the most powerful bite.
No, that's Doberman. Doberman has the most powerful bite. Yeah. Doberman has the most powerful
Google
bite.
that too, please.
Okay, well.
No, I got no eyes.
Yeah, you got to turn your mic on. You got to read it. Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to hear from the mastermind behind the video
now
switching.
for Little Ginger.
Is it Pitbull?
Yeah.
What?
What?
It says pit bulls were responsible for the highest percentage of reported bites. followed by German
reported.
Yeah.
Okay.
And mixed breed dogs.
Try
Mixed
that.
breeds.
Was that Google?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
ain't
go
buying
full
that.
Joe Rogan here. I'm gonna go DuckDuckGo. You ever heard of DuckDuckGo?
You told me about DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
I like
that's
the
right.
name.
I was really drunk. I'm gonna look up DuckDuckGo. I went to Google to look up.
Oh, here another one
DuckDuckGo.
says Labrador Retrievers.
Yeah.
Then pit bulls, then German Shepherds and Rottweilers.
So St. Bernards are anywhere on there.
No.
Huh.
Most.
See, I was lying
powerful
again.
Dog bite on DuckDuckGo. Let's see. Top 23 dogs with the strongest bite. No, I want the top 10.
No, give us the strongest bite because I'm interested in that too.
Okay, well,
Because again, it's not the pit bull.
Oh, this is a blog, petcomments.com. This is
That's
not
opinion,
factual.
not
The
static.
pit bull does not have a lockjaw. It does not have. I had a roommate with a husky that could crush bones. Like, huskies can bite the fuck out of shit. Like, amazing bone crushers.
Well, aren't they closer to aren't they closer to wolves than they are to dogs?
Who knows, eh? Isn't it interesting, though, that all dogs, all canines came from wolves?
Yeah, that's weird.
That's
to think
weird.
about that, because
how does a chihuahua come from a wolf? Like, that's a lot of work on genetics right there.
have you ever seen Jackass?
Nah, I avoided stuff like that. It just gave me too many good ideas.
But are you aware of Wee Man?
No.
He's the little person on there.
Okay, no. Totally
Okay.
devoid.
Him and Shaquille
That
O'Neal
and Friends.
are the same.
Don't hang me,
they're
but I
both
never
humans.
watched Friends either.
Wee Man, who's like, I don't know if he's over 3 foot. He's tiny. Him and Shaquille O'Neal are both humans.
Yeah,
So you put that against
Right?
chihuahuas and wolves.
Right?
It's like, oh, okay, it's not that far apart, actually.
Yeah, I guess evolution and genetics and food. One of the biggest, they say that people are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, right? In the 1800s or 1700s when the knights were wearing armor and shit.
Yeah, but they didn't live past 25. They all
Right?
starved to death or died of plague or
Right? And they were
hepatitis
little.
or whatever.
They were little fellas. You know what the biggest contributing factor is to the growth of humanity?
Food?
Refrigeration.
Oh, yeah, because they had to salt all the meat.
Fuck yeah.
They salted the shit out of it. So when
And it went bad, and you couldn't eat your vegetables. And like in the wintertime, how do you grow a vegetable, right?
Just go somewhere where there's no winter.
Right? Which brings me to another interesting topic. The development of countries increases in technology and civilization, quote unquote, the further you get from the equator.
Sorry, say that again?
The further you get from the equator, okay, the more developed countries become. More technology, more civilization, more technology, more everything. You take your third world countries are all pretty much hugging the equator. Because why the fuck would you do anything but lay in the sun if you could?
There's
They can
actually...
pick a coconut.
What's the guy's name? I'm going to find this author because there's a book. It's a really long book. Like, you can not only kill a fly, you can kill a kitten with this book. It's a It's a big book. I only have the audio book of it. It's called Guns, Germs, Jared Diamond. Jared Diamond wrote this book called Guns, Germs, and Steel. And he outlines why humanity crossed the Atlantic from east to west to conquer and explore versus why society in North America didn't come east to conquer and explore.
Oh, yeah.
And actually the biggest contributing factor by far is large domesticated mammals.
Oh, we got good to eat.
There's more to pull like farm equipment, to develop farms, to feed a bigger town so you can have people that do nothing but study. And they don't have to do like things that prepare or further life. They study things like how to write, how to create the printing press, how to create things like that. It's actually large domesticated mammals that make the biggest difference.
Nomadic,
and there's more in Asia than North America.
Yeah.
That's actually the main reason.
Interesting.
It's a weird thing. It's like
life is so fucking cool if you pay attention, isn't it?
It's fucking weird. It's really, really weird.
Yeah.
It's like the more that I get used to it, the more I just realize I haven't been learning new stuff.
Right. I ran across this guy 10 plus years ago. His name was Nathan, and he's ended up in Auckland, as far as I know. And he stumbled into the bar. I met him in the bar working. I worked in the old world. I worked sometimes as a bouncer. And I was bouncing in this nightclub, and he was a cook in the nightclub. And he got onto my boxing club. He wasn't a real physical kid, and he fell in love with the training. He fell in love with the atmosphere. And both you guys know that there's a certain atmosphere that's developed around this club for sure, but I'm guessing we're not unique as far as boxing culture. There's a boxing culture that attracts people and embraces it, and people really, really misunderstand the boxing culture. The hardest thing about joining a boxing club is walking in, because once you do, everybody's got open arms, and they embrace you and bring you in and try and integrate you into their world. So Nathan fell into this world. He ended up in a university as a professor in Auckland, New Zealand. And we would have these long conversations, and I'd spew out Geoffisms, and Nathan would back them with facts, right, and statistics, and sort of like a past tense Rob Velzebor. And I'd say, isn't it interesting how little education I've had and how much I know? He said, totally, that's true. He says, but isn't it interesting how many statistics I know to back up your information? So
how do you have this pool of knowledge that's actually like backable, if that's the right word for it, and this stuff? Like that's pretty cool. By the way, speaking of Rob, he almost had that microphone tonight. I just forgot to reply to him 2 days ago. I feel bad about that. Sorry, Rob.
I love Rob Belvoir. Sorry, Rob. I wish you were here right now. I could use some statistics. People,
text him, see if he wants to text or
jump in on this with some comments.
Well, I mean, if he actually wants to jump in, like we can bring him in on a phone call.
Yeah, we have lots of vodka.
No, I mean, like this thing can take a phone call. And we can talk to him.
How cool is that? Let's ring him up.
You know what? Hey, can you the Bluetooth channel? Can you pull that channel up? I'm just gonna connect to right here.
Rob Velzebor, just to give you a little background, is probably I've met super intelligent people. I've met super educated people.
Try like halfway up. There we go.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we can hear him.
Oh, can I?
Oh, yes.
Oh, everybody cross your fingers.
Hope he picks up.
Come on, answer. Oh, he's not gonna. He never answers. You fucking millennials, I tell you.
He doesn't text either.
Well, yeah, he will.
He's a weird dude. Like, he doesn't text. He doesn't. I don't know.
Your call has been forwarded to the automatic voice message system.
You want to leave him a message?
778.
Oh, shit. I don't want to give away his number.
Yeah, no. Yeah, okay.
778. That's an area code. Nobody write that down. There's like 2,000 people that have the area code number.
So, Mr. Velzebor is, like I said, I've met super intelligent people. I've met super educated people. They don't always go hand in hand, education and intelligence. Rob marries the two. He is a neat, super neat kid. And he includes the physical. Like, the kid is graduated from LSC in England. Is it LSC or LSU?
You got better memory for that kind of stuff than I do.
It's one of the top universities in the world. With distinction, he boxes. He is just the guy, just really interesting. Experiments with his body. He's vegan. He does TED Talks. He's just, you're going to have him on.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Totally.
I want him to.
Yeah.
Then we'll call you up midway through the podcast.
Right?
And if you don't answer the phone, we're going to call you a fucking millennial.
Frick, I'm a boomer, man. I answer when it rings. Boomers answer.
You don't even look at the number. You just pick up and say, hello, this is Geoff. Who's this? And you're like, I'm in your contacts. Like, sorry, old habits die hard.
Hello?
I'm used to the long cord on the phone stuck to the kitchen wall.
Yeah, I'm still blown away that my phone goes with me. Like, no cord? What the fuck?
You can have a cord if you want. We can go get one. I can plug it in for you if you like to just feel a little bit more nostalgic.
I'm going to throw this out there. Who knows what a party line was?
You want to jump in on this one?
Come on, Ginger.
Isn't that like a line that anyone could just jump on and chat? And
Kinda, close, real close.
Like a number that you call. I didn't have these in the Middle East.
Oh, right.
But I'm guessing that's like a number that you call into. And it's kind of like a group chat going on, and you can hang up whenever you want.
You're so out of there.
I'm so out of this one.
When you had a phone in the house, and you weren't like really high, so a private line as a house phone was quite expensive. So most people had a party line. So when you picked up the phone to phone somebody, you had to pick up and listen to see if anybody else was on it. So 10 of your neighbors were on the same phone line as you.
Oh.
So you'd pick it up and you'd go, oh, sorry, Sam. Are you going to be long? Okay, good. No, I'm not in a rush. I'll phone in about 20 minutes. Thanks, eh? And then if you were a dick, you'd pick it up, hang it up, pick it up, hang it up, pick it up, hang it up, and you'd get the neighbor to hang the fuck up so you can make your phone call, right? So, yeah, I didn't even have a flush toilet when we were growing up, and that's not how old I'm at. That's how poor we were, man. We just didn't have a flush toilet. I remember the excitement when we put in a flush toilet. The old man, stepdad, built an addition onto the house and put a toilet in it. We didn't have to go outside no more. That's freaking cool. And like I said, I'm not quite that old. Most people had one, but we grew up in a bad neighborhood, a poor neighborhood and shit like that. And it took a little while, right? My first house that I remember was built on a foundation of logs. It didn't have a concrete foundation. It was built on logs. And then the logs over the years started to rot and deteriorate. So when we played marbles, no shit, man. You just sit there and you fucking let it go and it would roll down the floor and hit the other marbles, right?
You ever seen like those races people have done now with like marbles or like little bouncy balls and stuff? They like make a little track in the sand on the beach.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And they'd have like a little piece of wood. Like they have it like holding back all the marbles.
And then
they just release it, and they just follow it with the camera, and you start watching this thing, and as you're watching,
go
like,
blue,
every marble,
go blue.
Exactly, you get invested. You think like, oh, I bet Green's got this one. Green's like 4 back right now, but it's going to make a turn like near the end there, and have all these little twists and turns, like false entrances, or like detours that were long and others, but they had like a little dip in the gravity, and like they kind of split. Like, oh, blue's got it now. Oh no, here comes yellow. It's weird. Like you watch fucking marbles going down beach sand, and you start rooting for some colors. Like, what's going on with me right now?
Any form of competition, if it is a close competition, is exciting. The most exciting form of competition is combat sports.
Talk a little bit about the different ways you've seen boxing fights, both as a ref, as a fighter, as an observer, on the TV.
So let's talk about boxing specific. I know a lot of MMA guys and stuff like that, and I totally respect the sport, but it's not my sport.
We had a fun time watching the other night, though.
Yeah, it was great. I'm not as knowledgeable, I guess. But the biggest surprise for most people out there is how much love is involved between the two competitors. I was asked if I would fight this guy one time. I said no. And I'm not going to name names because it's just getting ugly. I said no, there's no way I would fight him because everybody I've ever fought in a boxing ring, I've ended up loving and having mad respect for. And I got no way I want to fucking like this guy. Right? So
you thought that I'm going to like this guy after we hit each other for an hour.
Right.
I don't want to do that, so we better not fight.
So I challenged him to a street fight, and he declined. But that is the biggest thing is you know, and it's a funny sport because it attracts we're the Cinderella sport, man. Boxing is... There's an anonymous quote that says, all I need is my 2 fists, a pair of shorts, a pair of shoes, and the desire to compete. It's a poor man's sport. It draws kids out of the ghetto, which is an interesting aspect in Canada because, man, nobody's in the ghetto compared to some of these nations I've been coaching in. In some neighborhoods I've coached, it's a career choice. It's like I do this or I fail, you know.
It's like that or we don't.
Shout out to Rogelio Batista.
Who's Rogelio?
Rogelio, Daniel Berber, and this is so rude. I can't remember Juan's last name. 3 kids I coached down in California, amazing kids. They called Juan Lucky. He lived between the Norteño and Sereno, the north and the south, 2 big Mexican gangs in a second worst gang neighborhood per capita in California. And they called him Lucky because he had refused to affiliate with either gang, and he had made it home from school alive every day so far. And so they called him Lucky, eh? And him and Daniel Berber and Juan Julio, and oh shit, names are fading on me, eh? Anyways, these 3 kids, they taught me more about boxing than I've ever learned from anybody else ever, and I was their coach.
Just like from their reaction for what you were
Their
giving to
lives, their need of it, Rogelio Batista was a fat Mexican kid in a fucking gang neighborhood with a lisp. Okay? You want to talk about being a target? Holy shit, man. And that kid could fight. Right? He fought any and everybody in his backyard, and boxing, he boxed, right? Daniel Berber was a dark-skinned, hook-nosed, Azteca-looking fucking Mexican, right? Just a dark soul, and he could fight. And they all just brought this passion to the sport and this need, and man, they were crazy good kids. I mean, they broke my heart when I had to move to Central America, and I left them. One didn't make it. He ended up moving back to Mexico because he couldn't handle the gang pressure anymore. I would drop kids off after work and or after the club, and I'd have to turn in circles so that the door they were getting out of was next to their gate so they didn't get jumped. You know, it was so freaking, and I'm a white boy from Canada, like living this shit, right? And it was interesting. It was really interesting education.
You talk about Juan, was it, who was nicknamed Lucky?
Lucky, yeah.
Lucky. He was named Lucky because of not getting jumped by these gang members north and south. Where did you fit in the pecking order? Because like you said, you're this white boy from Canada. You're the outsider. You're the gringo. What are you doing there?
Boxing, baby. Boxing.
What did that do?
So 2 stories. I started to understand the culture and what I was involved with, and tagging and territories and everything like that was big, right? So colors were big. I had kids that would refuse to fight out a red corner, and I had kids that would refuse to fight out a blue corner. And so I laid down a law. Inside of my club, there was no fucking colors. The only colors were my colors, black and red, right? Club colors were the only colors that mattered for shit.
Is that why Mad Catz is black and red?
See, right? That's yes. You could hit a sound effect on that, please.
Bottom right.
Can we get a sound effect on? Thank you.
Whatever you do, not the middle bottom left.
Oh,
not that one.
Let's go middle bottom left.
Oh, sorry, middle bottom right. No, I'm all wrong.
Hit them all.
Oh, there we go. That's the one I thought was the middle bottom left. Was the wah 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 wah. Hey, do you want to crack that Grey Goose or pass me some Alberta Pure? I don't care either one.
I'm going to crack this and... oh, no, I'm not going to. I don't have the strength.
Give it to the Ginger. Ginger just got this one.
So...
Do you need some ice?
There's some behind you.
No, do you need some more?
Oh, fuck, I do.
Yeah, 1 second.
Let's do a little pause for the cause. So let's go into the story while I get my drink refreshed. I made this demand. There's no colors in my club, except for my colors. And I pull up to the club one day, and it had been tagged.
It had been tagged?
Yeah. So a gang had claimed that territory.
Like how do they tag it? What does that mean?
Ghetto art, right? They put their logo on it, and I can't remember which fucking gang tagged it now. It was either Nortania Sereno or the North 14. I can't remember.
Do you mind if I steal some of your mix there?
Yeah, for sure. And I walked into the club and I see this, and I walked in, and as I'm just sort of spewing, I'm not thinking. I walked in, motherfuck, what the fuck? This is bullshit. And it was a Saturday, and the only day I closed was Sundays. And I didn't think nothing of it. I just sort of spewed off and then ran the group, right, ran the training session. And I leave and I go back and I take my Sunday off. I come back on Monday, and the gang tag had been tagged over with an MKBC, Mad Cats Boxing Club. It seems to your average Canadian is no big deal. But in that world, you could get killed.
That's declaring war, isn't it?
Yeah, you could get killed for doing that. And it never got taken down. It was respected. And that's what gave these kids like Julio Vargas, thank you very much. Julio Vargas was the kid I was talking about. That's lucky. It gave him status. When he belonged to MKBC, he didn't have to affiliate. When I pulled out of California, the pressure was back on. He fucked off to Mexico. He couldn't take it no more.
Here we don't really get that kind of association with how strong that kind of a pull
I worked
is.
in a ghetto bar down in that same fucking neighborhood, and a kid came in one night. He couldn't have been much more than 15 years old. He stood at the door fidgeting with his belt line. I knew he was there to fucking be jumped in, and the fucking thing was to kill the bartender, right? And not just me, just a random shooting. He had to shoot somebody.
Like initiation kind of thing?
Yeah, to get his colors and shit, right? And I was ready to hit the floor. Kid ballsed out and didn't do it. But it was a weird world. It was I pulls up to this, this guy starts training with me, a Mexican guy. And his name's Angel. And Angel was obviously not a citizen, right? He was sketchy as fuck. But he joined his two kids as well. And I can't remember, Danny was one of them, and I can't remember the other kid's name, but I nicknamed him Cupid because there was Angel and his son Cupid, right? Little Angel. And Angel dropped out real quick, but Cupid and Danny kept coming. Well, they wouldn't leave the club till I did. And I'm not going to let these freaking 8 and 9-year-olds walk home in this neighborhood alone. And I'm as fucking white as they get down there. I'm driving a Land Rover. One of those square fish tank motherfuckers, right? So I pull up.
Ones you can draw with a crayon with your eyes closed.
Right.
Those ones.
Right? I drive up, and it's a Saturday, so it's daylight, and I'm fucking drive Cupid and Danny home, right? And as I pull up, I got my windows open. It's a nice sunny day, right? And I pull up, and I hear this, there's a handful of guys on the porch, right? And I hear, hey, Angel. Some white boys here. And I see Angel's head poke around the corner, and he goes, oh, that's not a white boy, man. That's a coach. Right? It was all about status, right? And he goes, oh, hey, coach, you want a beer? And then I hear Angel, hey, fuck, stupid, that's a coach, man. He don't want no beer. Oh, right, yeah. Hey, coach, you want a soda? Well, I wanted a fucking beer bad, but more than that, I wanted to sit on the stoop with the fucking homies and drink, right? So I came up and I hung with them for a little bit, and I just fucking loved it. It was like an experience, right? Total white boy experience. But yeah, I hung with the homies. No, coach don't want no fucking beer, man. Come on, have some respect.
What I'm curious about is, you didn't walk into that neighborhood as coach. You were there as white boy first.
Yeah.
And then you didn't leave. You probably put up with a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
And at some point, people realized this guy's not going anywhere. And then they started to see what you were doing and that you were doing it consistently. Then you saw that they're helping my kids. They're helping the neighborhood kids. You must have developed this, but what was it? What was the move-in like? How was it when it started?
So it goes, every story has a story. So I chased a chick, right? And I go down to California. I'm running out of fucking money. And my fake ID wasn't getting me nowhere. But I did get a job in a ghetto bar. So I'm working in this ghetto bar, and I run into this ghetto mom. And this ghetto mom has a 6'6", 15-year-old kid who used to be the starting center on the California touring basketball team. Coordinated, they're living in their car. Okay, she's addicted to crack as fuck. And he's running gang. And I start figuring out this boxing world and blah, blah, blah. And she's got enough mum left in her that she buys me a pair of punch mitts and she buys him a pair of gloves. So we'd hook up every night under a street lamp. Literally, you can't. This is like a movie scene shit. We'd go under the street light and we'd start fucking throwing punches. Right across the fucking tracks was a Hells Angels clubhouse. We'd run down those tracks 4 or 5 kilometers, man, and it was like fucking homeless camp. And I'd say to him, fucking that's one life and boxing's another. And she got worse. He got better. So moved him into my house. Gave him a car. Shit like that. Ended up going bad, eh? He wrecked the car, went back to the gang life and shit like that. You don't win all of them, but you give them some temporaries, Some shit goes good. I don't know. Maybe the kid got legs one day. I don't know. Who knows? But for a little while, he had legs. He had a good home, and he wasn't living in a car and shit like that.
That's residual, though. That memory doesn't go away.
Yeah.
You never know when they're going to think back to it and go back to it.
Yeah. And that's what boxing can bring to a kid. And he's not the only one. There's shit tons of them. You lose way more than you ever win, but you never start out trying to be that guy. But eventually it just keeps happening and you realize, holy fuck, I care. Anyways, whatever.
Yeah, that's a cool thing to realize, like, oh my God, I care. I'm that guy. I think there's a lot of people who don't know what they care about yet, but they know that there's certain friends in their lives that they just can't give up on.
Yeah.
And I've heard of them. I've met a few of them. Occasionally, I've actually met their friends too, of like, I got to distance myself from this person, but at the same time, they don't really have anyone else, or if they do, they're worse than I am. And what they could do without me is worse than how my experience is going to be with them. So you know what? I need to go and spend some time with them. I need to love on them. I need to make them feel valuable. I need to give them the kind of attention that a human being who's worth giving attention to deserves. And you never know where that's going to go.
And sometimes it's enough. Not always. But it's interesting, and it becomes love with a callus. Because the odds are against it. And we've shared an experience with an individual that we ran a whole film documentary on. And he's still floundering out there. He was doing his best and such like that when we knew him. And so, little background, I run these charity boats. And Nathan fought in one. And so Becca was going to fight in one. No fault of her own. Her opponent fell out, and she ended up not actually getting in the ring.
Did you have an opponent? I actually can't remember.
She ducked at the end. No, I can't remember what happened.
They outweighed me, so they wouldn't sanction my fight because I was smaller than all the rest.
Yeah. It just the one I had her hooked up with fell, and then there was nobody to put her with. But there's people out there that are willing to jump into an extremely uncomfortable situation to support. Nathan raised $1,500 for men and women in recovery. People he didn't even fucking know. A program that I run out of this club. to just throw it out there, man. There's another life out there, and I just don't close doors. But at some point, you got to go callous, and you can't completely support these people, because then they'll just depend on your support. But what you can do is show them there's an option. And, like I said, it's love with a callus, So it's pretty cool. And I learned the hard way, open my home to people, and I ain't having no more fucking crackheads in my house. But
the value of doing something like that, like if anyone ever is asked, real question, if anyone's ever asked, like real, like no bullshit, like come on, be honest here, be honest with yourself. Forget me, be honest with yourself. If anyone's asked, you got two options. One option is handouts. The other option is belief in yourself. Which one do you want?
Believe.
But if you only get like one or the other, you
Believe.
either get handouts and no belief in yourself, or you believe in yourself and no handouts.
Yeah.
Any sane
I quit
person
handing out
knows
shit.
which one they want.
Yeah, I quit handing out shit. I did that with that kid down in California, and he trashed it. I end up now just giving people belief. I mean, look at the life-changing experience you went through, and you don't need this. Imagine what somebody that needs it does. I'm working with a new kid right now. I fucking love this kid. He's from my fucking Rootin' Tootin' Newton. Shout out. And I see a spark. Every now and then I see a spark in someone. But that's not even just me. That's the sport. This sport just breeds giving and breeds love. And you know why those two boxers hug at the end of a 12-round war? Because it's respect. And that's why I wouldn't fight this other guy.
I love that story. I love that. Like, I won't fight him because I don't want to respect him. Because if we do fight, I will. Damn it.
Yeah, we only fight people we love.
That's such a weird, paradoxical
I like you. I'll punch you in the
in.
head. I like you. Yeah.
My favorite definition that I think it was you or somebody else was saying was, definition of boxing is chess under threat of violence.
Yeah.
Is you are making a move, and that move is going to trigger a reaction, and that reaction is going to trigger you're changing your next move, and it just hurts sometimes.
Yeah,
I remember my nose bled every single sparring night.
But think back, you were in a bloody war, and you never stopped coming, you never stopped fighting. Did any of it actually hurt at the time, or was it just
just charged full of adrenaline?
You're just
I didn't notice any of it.
When I tell people getting punched in the face doesn't hurt, they look at me like I'm some sort of, you're fucking all pumping yourself up. No, it's true. It doesn't hurt. And next day, you're like, ow, what the fuck?
Like, imagine running from an alligator, and like you have like a bunch of tree branches like slapping your face, but you get away from the alligator. You don't notice any of those tree branches while you're running. Afterwards, you're like, I got stuff all over my face, but you don't notice any of it at the time. It's the same kind of idea. It's like the fight or flight kind of thing. In this case, it's fight.
It's fight. And that's a neat thing, too. You can't change that instinct. You fight or you flight. And you can't visually line up 20 people and go, fighter, 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 flighter, flighter. You can't. The oddest people fight. Like, I'm whatever I was, 6'2". I'm float around 200 pounds, and I got scars all over my fucking face. You can kind of guess that I'm a fighter, but I could. Okay, so there's this one, right? We're training this guy, and he's pounding freaking holes. He's a 220-pound guy. The heavy bags are afraid of him, right? He's just a fucking beast. And he goes, I think I want to try sparring. And I'm looking around, and I'm 45 at the time, right? I'm like, motherfucker, there's nobody who can fight this guy. So I dust off the fucking gloves, and I fucking took a little while because the dust was thick on them. And I jump in there, and I was scared shitless. I've been scared shitless every time I've gotten through the ropes, but I come out and I throw about 4 fast, hard jabs. Just whap, 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 whap. And they all landed and he goes, bup, 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 bup. I'm done. Nope, don't ever, right? And this big, scary dude was not a fighter, right? And tiny little guys, weaselly, my son looks like a fucking crackhead and he fights, right? He's not a crackhead, by the way. But he's a fighter, man. No, he doesn't.
He's got the heart. It's always the heart.
Something about it. It's an instinct.
Every time I've been honest with myself, the first thing to give up is my head.
Yeah.
My body can do more than I ever asked it to do. And I know this because there's enough anecdotal evidence out there that humans are capable of more like physical exertion than we would ever do in like a sane state of mind with like all of our focus. You kind of need a little crazy to really get like the last few drops out of ourselves, but we can do way more than we ever think.
The Pony Express horse that runs itself to death. You can do that. I got into this fight one time down in California with a big white Mexican kid, and he was 270, I was 175. And
a whole human difference between you two.
Right. And fuck was I scared. And I'm popping. I'm on my toes. I'm popping jabs. Round and a half, I had this guy bleeding out of every hole in his face, right? And then I ran out of gas.
Did you turn the fight around after that?
Fucking nightmare. I dropped against the ropes, and I thought, here he comes, right? And he come in, he's like, Merry Christmas, and he starts landing fucking bombs on me. And I realized, holy fuck, this ain't that bad. And I spun him around. We spent another round and a half on the ropes, and I got the best of it. I fucking kicked his ass. And
wait, this was a sanctioned fight with 100 pounds difference?
Yeah, it was an underground circuit. I never fought. I fought a dozen or so undergrounds, and I fought a dozen or so club fights. And I didn't feel like I could be a complete coach without doing it. And I was 37, 38 years old when I started fighting, eh?
You ever had a bare knuckle fight? Like a sanctioned bare knuckle fight? Not a street fight?
No, just street fights.
Okay.
But
I've heard they're like an animal in and amongst themselves.
Yeah, they're a lot different in that there's not many combinations or single shot shit, right? And stuff like that. I would do one, actually. I'd do one. I'd be comfortable in a bare knuckle fight, but my hands are really busted up.
From what I heard, there's way fewer face shots because like your face actually hurts to punch.
It
like, without
hurts.
a glove on, it actually really hurts. They go for way more body shots.
Yeah. I've been in, best guess, 200 plus street fights. And that includes bouncing and shit like that over the years and stuff.
That's part of your occupation at that point.
Yeah, yeah. But that's like from 6 years old. I grew up in Surrey, right? Newton. You fought almost every day. And if you didn't get into a fight on the way home from school, you fought your buddies in the backyard, you know, like it's just a thing.
Hey guys, I'm still fresh. Let's have a fight.
Yeah, it was wrestling, but even fucking kittens fight every day too, you know.
You're puppies. You're not puppies have a brawl every 20 minutes.
Exactly. Nobody disses on kittens. Fighting is something that there should be way more places like mine. There should be way more safe places and way more praise for fighters. Because what happens is you get this kid that's naturally inclined to fight. Like I was. And fighting is bad. So you get this constant drumming that fighting is bad, fighting is bad, fighting is bad. And all you want to do is fight. So you realize you're bad. So you become a bad guy because you can't change it. You can't stop wanting to fight, and fighting is bad. So obviously you're bad, right? Fighting's natural. Fighting's as natural as fucking breathing for some people. But there's just no safe places, and there's way too much violence involved in fighting. Boxing is fighting without violence. tell me one person that you fought in this ring or in a show ring that you felt violent towards. That doesn't happen.
Never happened. No, that's a wonderful way to put it. And it's also weird to think like, no, like where I'm sitting right now, at one point I danced across it while trying to dodge some jabs from some of the more experienced members in the club.
You don't give yourself much credit. I had tons of faith in your potential.
No, it's that is very flattering, honestly. It was more of a mental milestone than it ever was an aspiration for me.
Yeah.
It was more of like a victory that I can always look back on and think, no, I got this.
Yeah, a ton of guys one up it, and man, they carry that badge for life.
I've got my second place medal hanging on my wall.
Yeah.
By second place, I mean losing medal.
No,
because in a boxing fight, you win or you lose. There's no second place. Second place is loser.
But
I look at it and I think, no, that was a really good experience. I see it every day, multiple times a day.
You named it right the first time. You come in first or second. Nobody ever loses when they crawl into the square circle. Nobody ever loses.
Some people really don't like the term failure. I embrace it. I like failing. I like failing forward. I like failing into stuff.
That's a fun term.
I learn more stuff from when I fail than when I win. Because if I win, that means that I did it right and I already learned it and I executed the steps that got you to success. Sometimes there's a bit of luck in there, but more often than not, it's like, no, you did this correctly. So you've already learned it. So the failing moments in life teach more.
Yeah. It's not getting knocked down is not the crime. Not getting up is. You know? And that's and getting knocked down, fuck, I didn't think it could happen. When I was fighting, so getting knocked down is largely to do with neuromuscular. There's a temple to jawline neuromuscular. When that moves, boom, you drop. You just drop. If you've got a strong jawline and you can, somewhat block punches and stuff like that, it's very hard to knock somebody down, right? I felt, without a doubt, it was impossible to drop me in a fight. And I put a bounty on my own chin when I would fight. And I would say, you don't got to beat me. You just got to drop me, and I'll buy you a steak dinner. Now, some people call me cocky.
That's a pretty bold statement.
I honestly
I don't know. As soon as I hear that, I'm like, ooh, sounds like a challenge.
Right?
Who's that going to be?
Right? I flap my gums so much I don't even fucking think, my jaw strength is amazing. And I honestly think that's where I got it from. But I ran into a Portuguese kid in California, Alfred Pereira. Shout out, Alfred! Dropped me twice. 2 fights in a week, a Friday and then a Saturday.
How many steaks did you buy him?
I took him and his girlfriend out for dinner.
Nice.
I won one and I lost one. I got up both times. I lost one of the fights and I won one of the fights.
When you say knocked down, you mean like
dropped.
You dropped, but you weren't unconscious. You were knocked out.
No.
It's like ref counts to 10.
I got
still
up.
upright. That kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah. The first time I was up, it was like a trampoline. It was boom, boom. I'm looking. And this guy's counting, and what the fuck? And I was really confused for a split second. And a split second in boxing is like about a minute and a half.
That's enough time for 2 jabs.
Right. And I'm like, fuck, he's counting, fuck. And I'm like, fuck, I got dropped. And I looked down and I said, I got dropped, right? And he's nodding as he's counting. And I'm like, fuck. A mutual friend of ours, the very last kind of sparring session I ever did was a few years ago. I was in my 50s and I played around with Aaron. And we're getting a little bit excited, right? And at the end of it, we were both pretty exhausted. He goes, holy fuck, are you a dirty fighter? I said, the referee didn't say a thing. Like, fuck you.
You didn't have a ref, did you?
There was no ref. It's a fight.
Oh, was funny. Okay, just a real quick story about Aaron. This is like one of like those little ego boost moments. I still think about this moment a lot. Thanks, Aaron, for saying this. It was really appreciated. He was doing some drills with me, and it was like a combination. Like you do this, and it was like just for arbitrary reasons. It might have been like a 1, 2, 3, 2 duck, 2 roll over, 2 jab out, for example.
Mitt combo.
It's some way, shape, or form we messed up. I say we, it was probably me, just because I'm still learning how to count.
There's like 5 punches.
And he's southpaw, so it doesn't help. If I screw up the counts at all, it's like, I had to memorize this stuff. You're righty, I'm lefty. It's up to you. You got to count. So anyways, I screwed it up, and I rolled when he was going for like a mitt. And basically what happened is I went full speed into a elbow with my nose. And I like I don't know if I did the rest of the combo or I tried to, but it was like oh shit, that wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. Oh well. And like I was kind of like feeling like that pressure in your head from like getting like clocked by a clean one, like no block, no diffusion, nothing. It was like full elbow to like nose and forehead. And he looked at me, he was like, damn, you're tougher than you look. I was like, no, I'll take that.
I guess that's a compliment. You're kind of pretty.
That was a funny moment. I hang on to that moment like, yes, sweet. Got clocked by a clean hit with an elbow, and I'm good. Cool.
So Nathan was predominantly trained by one of the guys I trained. But I peek in on him every now and then, eh? And you probably weren't aware of this, but I kept telling Aaron, I said, no, that guy can fight, right? And I pushed him to quit babying you. And I pushed him into inviting you into that charity bout.
Oh, I couldn't believe how excited I was when I heard, like, you can fight. I'm like, no way, really? I was so stoked. That was such a cool moment. I couldn't get off that high for the rest of the day.
After so many years in this sport, you get a sense of a person's, let's just use the word energy, because that's a pretty cool spiritual word, right? And it's a neat, I vibed you hard. And I know that fight didn't go exactly how I thought, but I'll tell you one thing. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and sometimes in a loss you get more mad respect than you do in a win. And you got mad fucking respect after that fight. That was a cool fucking fight.
That was something, like, I don't know what happened in regards to, like, with you and Aaron. That like, anyone else, I don't know. That's pretty cool. I'm now finding out about that right now. But, like, in my own head, the self-confidence that I was able to take into things I wasn't sure if I was out of my depth or not. Like, yeah, boxing is, as we were talking about, fighting without violence, and yes, it is an outlet, a safe space for kids who want to fight, whether or not, like, as much as they want to breathe. But then when they're given a chance, when they're given that safe space, when they're given that opportunity and the training, and it's in a healthy environment, and they're pushing themselves, and then they do the thing. Like, there's all that prep, and then there's like that moment.
Yeah.
If you don't get that moment, that prep almost works against you.
Yeah.
It almost feels like, I wasted all that time. But then if you get tested and you don't win, you still got tested.
Yeah.
And that pushes you through more situations than anyone will ever believe.
It's such a growth, a human growth sport. If you win, like you said, you train for months to fight minutes, right? And then you lose. Your strength of character determines whether you fight again or not. Like, Man, me? Fuck you. You beat me once, you better fucking be ready to beat me again, bitch. Like, fuck you. Right? First of all, in a street fight, you have to render me unconscious or the fight's not over. And nobody's done that. Number two, in a boxing match, when that final bell rings, if I don't get my hand raised, you know we're having a rematch. You know it. It's better be a fucking thing in your life, because I'll come to your club and I'll fight you in your own fucking club. Like, if you don't want to do it in the ring again, I'll fucking come visit you. Like, nobody ever beats me. Nobody ever beats me. I've been beaten a lot, but nobody ever beats me.
I think that kind of willpower, that kind of like mental energy, to have that kind of an attitude and walking through life like that, it's hard to have someone tell you no and you accept no.
You know what's weird? My son has it. It's genetic, I guess, maybe, or I got lucky. But he's got my jab, my jaw, and my fucking desire to win. He won. He got a bronze medal in the provincials.
You want to top up, by the way?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm gonna serve myself here real quick and pass it down via.
How about you two talk amongst yourself? I'm gonna pee.
Okay, let's do that. We're gonna talk about all the things that we want to ask you about.
Perfect.
You gotta turn your mic on. So it's actually getting a little bit cool in here, and I guess I'm the only one with the I'm the only one with the camera right now. So I'm just gonna talk to the ghost in the room, the beautiful ginger ghost. This room is a lot warmer than it used to be. We have insulation in here. Do you remember when it was just open air? There was a tarp stuck to some wood.
And it was ripped and
yeah,
to take off.
That squirrel has nothing on what it used to be in here.
Nope.
Like, I'm looking up at like a piece of insulation that looks like it got rearranged by someone with thumbs. I doubt a squirrel did that. Holy shit, that's the fucking squirrel. Did you see it?
Yeah. Squirrel or a rat?
Squirrel or a rat? Hey, we saw your buddy. Your buddy was just walking up there. It looked more like a rat than a squirrel.
Oh, it better not.
Yeah, he was just walking right up there. He's on the roof right now. Do you need a pellet gun?
No, honey. Let's pretend he's not there.
Oh man, he's probably gonna be walking up here next.
Fucking rat.
Yeah, he was a good size. Like, you see that gap like right above you, that one there? He filled that whole gap. So like, he's a good whatever this length is.
Okay, we're going after him. Are we still live?
Yeah, we're
how
still
you
live.
doing, folks? So I had a great pee. Just wanted to mention that.
By the way, we can stop this at any point. I told you that this is just us hanging out and chilling. That's really what this is.
Peeing is one of those rare times when you're okay to touch your cell phone. And you know we all like to do it. Hello,
Goodbye.
everybody. I'm your church lady, and this is Church Chat. Can you say Satan?
I was about to say goodbye, all sponsors.
Okay. Back to Alberta Pure.
Okay, so funny story about.
Where's the ice, damn it?
Oh, let me get you some.
Oh, so while they're freshening up my drink, let's you and me chat for a little while, shall we?
We were just talking about. Oh, I just watered that down quite.
That's all good. I can suck that out of there.
We were just talking about how much warmer it is in here. I used to love coming to train here in the wintertime versus the summertime because I have more body heat than a human being should have.
Oh, nice.
Especially like when I get moving and heart rate comes up. I'm oh shit, sorry. Being selfish here, hoarding on to all this stuff. Did you get some,
No,
some
I'm
geese?
good. You know, I mix my Alberta Pure with White Lightning, just so you know out there, if you're an alcoholic and you need a little stronger vodka, but you don't want to end up walking out on your lips, mix your average vodka with White Lightning, pour it into a Mickey so it's proportioned out so that you know exactly when you're going to pass out.
Fuck, I just had like PTSD when I heard the word Mickey.
Mickey?
Oh, man. So your favorite person in the world, someone I actually really want to bring onto this podcast, I'm sure you're going to figure out who I'm talking about. I'm not going to say his name. Has a few songs that have like a word that's repeated. And whenever that word is said, like one of them, you know the song Thunderstruck by AC/DC?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you hear the word thunder, you got to do a tuck, jump, and burpee.
Mickey.
So there's a song called, is it just called Mickey? Oh, Mickey, you're so fine.
Mickey, you're so fine.
Yeah.
You're so fine. You blow my mind.
So
Hey,
if
Mickey.
you hear Mickey, you got to jump, you got to drop down and sprawl, and otherwise, like you're running in place. So
Right.
that song plays, and every time you hear the word Mickey, you got to sprawl. So if I hear the word Mickey, I'm like, ugh, God damn it, Mickey.
Who do you want on here? Just tell me
you-
off air and I'll get him on.
I don't think you can get him on.
Oh, I bet. Can you mute us for a sec?
Jason from Final Round.
You know what?
Let's unmute us again.
Guaranteed I can get him on. He loves to hate me.
Oh man, you stir up shit on Facebook. You're really
He
good at
started it.
No, he didn't. Do you know what? He came over to me, interrupted my workout that he was leading, so he could tell me about how you were saying stuff that was this and that, and I'm just laughing.
Because
Because
he's a bitch. How many times has he fucking thumped his chest saying, "Oh, I'm going to fight, I'm going to fight"? I said, "Oh, fucking, we'll give you some rounds." You know what he told fucking another unnamed source that trains here? Oh, that club should be shut down. That guy's a fucking hack, blah, blah, blah. It's too dirty in there. Fuck yeah, it's dirty.
You say that, but he's the only person that's made me literally throw up from a workout. And maybe
What
that's
a
just
great
me
workout.
9 minutes.
It's
9
called
minutes in.
contraindicated. I can make you puke too, but
Next-
it's not going to bring you back.
No, but next day, same workout, I did the full 50 minutes.
That guy's a
It was a really big turn. That actually gave that alone, that experience kept me in the gym.
Yeah.
And 2 years later, I came to Mad Cats.
I'd love to spar the bitch.
Oh man, I really just want to hear him talk because he's got stuff to talk about. He's a really interesting person. I just don't get to see the stuff that I know that he doesn't let out because he's yelling at us like, "Quit talking, fucking work out. You came here to do something, do it."
I call that style of coaching cheerleaders.
Oh, there ain't no cheering about it.
No, there's cheerleaders. There's fitness gurus. I've been through a bunch of phases in my coaching career, and I started out as a cheerleader. You got this. Come on, drive. 10 more. Now you're left. You got this. Go. 1, 2. Come on, you got more. That's a fucking cheerleader.
I've never heard that from him.
Okay, just saying.
Never heard that from him.
Then
It's
you got-
mostly like, "What are you doing? Getting water. Get back to work."
Yeah.
And then there's nothing else until I'm
It's a-
starting to slack a bit. Like, "Hey, come on." I'm like, oh, "Okay." all
It's
right,
a drive. It's fitness orientated. And it's effective.
It is.
And he's good at what he does, but he ain't a fucking boxing coach. I'd fucking grab my worst fucking competitor and put it against his best. I've offered him sparring. Never taken me up on it. He's dissed me multiple times. He's cut me up with no fucking reason why. And even to you, I've never publicly attacked him. I've privately told people that fucking tell me what he says about me. I tell him he's a fucking idiot then. He doesn't know me. Why would he fucking say shit like that about me? He's met me once in person. And that was when the very first charity boat I did was run by a charity group that didn't have shit knowledge. And there was a rift between me and the organizer. And I said, she said, you don't seem to understand who's in charge. I said, I understand completely who's in fucking charge. I am. It's my insurance, my fucking club, my rules. Fuck off. So she did. And that's when she brought him in. And they forbid anybody to train here with me. Over half the competitors hired me privately to train them because of the training they got from him. And they were scared to get their asses kicked. I'll give you names.
That's a very different story than what I have experienced personally, but I have nothing to counter your story with. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know how accurate it is.
I actually felt
I have no idea. But here's what I do know. Is I've loved training with you, and I've loved training with him.
Yeah,
and
he's
here's
a good
another thing that I
fitness
know.
coach.
Here's another thing that I know. You said you've experienced one like face-to-face interaction with him.
Yeah.
I don't know a single person who I'm actually like properly friends with who is exactly who they are in person, who they are online.
Yeah,
I don't know a single person that's exactly the same on both of them. And
honestly,
if you've had one interaction with someone on like in person, I am the enemy in a lot of people's story.
Oh, no way.
I've been the dick
disagree.
in a lot of people's experiences.
How
Absolutely.
could you be a dick? Who could call you a dick?
Oh, a few days ago.
Oh, fucking
you know exactly
fuck
who
them
I mean.
up.
I'm not allowed to run
Give me
post-it
names.
notes.
I'm
I'm not
on
allowed
it.
to run post-it
I'm
notes
on
when I'm
it.
drunk. That's
I'm the
all
one
I'll
who
say.
told him he was a dick.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
she was totally right. She was totally right.
Sorry, Ginger.
So
I'm not gonna beat you up.
I'm definitely the dick in some people's stories for sure. And if that is your only interaction with me, then I'm a horrible person.
No,
But also, if you pair that against like my online version of Nathan Peacock, those don't match up at all. Like they're so different.
I actually felt sorry for the guy in our one face-to-face. Yeah. So maybe that's why he doesn't like me. I don't know.
I don't know. I think you two just had like a bad start.
You know what? You know who I am. A lot of people know who I am. And there's a lot of people that don't like me. And I've always realized this throughout my entire life. And I came to the conclusion that if everybody likes you, you're kissing somebody's ass. If nobody likes you, you're an asshole. Right? If you got more friends than enemies, you're probably doing something right. You know? And I walk my life. I got to a point where I didn't care who loved me and who hated me. It didn't matter anymore. And it still doesn't. And I like me. I'm a big personality. When I enter a room, I'm physically big, but I'm bigger than my physical size.
I have a lot of video evidence to back this up, by the way.
Yeah. Not everybody's going to love me. Guaranteed. Not everybody's going to love me. And guaranteed is a word, by the way. Ask your English teacher, kids. But no, it's definitely, and I don't diss the man. I think, I'd love to him I would spar. Right? The other guy I talked about, never. Him I would. I'd love to have respect for him at the end of the day.
I like that for that reason. That's really cool because, like, I know that not all my friends like each other. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't have to manage my friends.
It doesn't.
They're my friends. They're their own people. But that makes me happy to hear that.
Yeah. No, I'd have no problem. I mean, other than the fact that my fucking teeth are falling out and my face is brittle. You know what's weird? I'm gonna be fucking 60 in a year.
Oh, you didn't have to say that. I
I
think that's
know.
the vodka talking.
No, but it's trippy. Like, but I still feel like I could compete. You don't lose that upstairs thing.
No, I know that you're right on that. You're definitely right on that. Like both of my parents are in their 60s. They're like midway through their 60s, and they look like 40-year-olds. They act like 40-year-olds. They think with like the mental dexterity.
Yeah.
The mental flexibility of
fake
people
it.
like 20 years younger than
I can fake it, but in a 2-minute round, there's no faking. You know? I'd probably have my ass kicked now in an actual 3 2-minute fight. I know for a fact I couldn't make it. I could train for it, but it would take me 10 years and then I'd be 70. Fuck.
But hey, if you're fighting another 7-year-old, not 7-year-old, 70-year-old.
That would be cruel.
If you were fighting a 7-year-old.
That'd be cruel. I'd kick that fucking ass.
Senior boxing.
Oh, and let's go there for a minute. Enough of Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson. Enough of Holyfield Tyson.
Did they have their fight already?
Oh, my fucking God. It's blowing up. There's every fucking generic boxing guy out there. Julio Cesar, Barrera and Morales, and fucking it's blowing up. Please stop. Please stop, you old fuckers. Don't. I can't. You can't. We can't. Okay? Just give it to the kids. Let them fight. Pass on the knowledge. I'm as good once as I ever was. But boy, will I hurt for a long time after that. Right? I can still defend my 1800s. Oxford or Harvard or something. Dean of the university, one of the biggest universities in the world, said every man should be versed in the art of fisticuffs so as to protect himself and his family when it came time. Okay? It used to be part of our curriculum. Fighting used to be a gentleman was not a gentleman unless he was versed in the art of fisticuffs. My grandma, most important person in the world, said, a man ain't no good unless he can fight and dance.
Well, I'm half fucked.
You can dance. I'll teach you. You and me, we're going dancing. Man, you just like study Latino.
The three of us are excited about that.
You just study Latino as you move those fucking hips, baby.
I can play 5 instruments and my rhythm is fucked.
Yeah, no shit, eh? I can sing like a songbird, but everybody hates it.
Here's a thought. I've had a ton of fun. This has been amazing. I'm so glad that we actually got to hear some of these stories fleshed out a little bit.
This is fun.
Do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any final words? That sounded ominous. Any closing words?
Yeah. Let me think. Closing words. This was a great time. Thank you very much. Honestly, as somebody that spews off a lot, we call it Geoffisms, and I use shock value as my humor and stuff like that. I very appreciative that you would think that anybody out there, hey, listen to this podcast. Hit like and share. No, honestly, thank you. I love doing it. I love spewing. I love the fact that somebody might want to listen to me.
Well, I'm stoked that you actually retold a few stories that I've heard from like casual conversations after training, before training, here and there. The entire reason for this podcast is to generate an excuse to have those conversations that you remember later.
Yeah.
You know, the ones you have like when you're all like supposed to be in your cars driving away already, but for some reason you've been standing around for 20 minutes and you're still talking. Those conversations. I'm trying to make those. I'm trying to create a space for those to happen. That's all that this is. I don't want anything from this. I'm just enjoying them. So
nice. Shout out to Pit Bulls.
Pit Bulls.
Pit Bulls, not Bobby. Cali Cake. Love you.
All right. Let's kill it.
Ciao, Bella. Fun.
That was awesome. That was so much